Hey, it's Pete Thorn. Welcome to my home studio, and hey, welcome to my demo of the Silver Lake Reverb from my friends at SEYMOUR Duncan. There it is. You heard it on all the guitar parts on that track at the beginning of the video. Terrific sounding reverb pedal. This is a programmable reverb, so it's got banks and memory locations. You can store your sounds in it, more memory than you could ever possibly need, I'm sure. You can recall those sounds via MIDI if you want, or of course just on the unit itself. And then there's a whole bunch of different sound algorithms in there, like plate reverb and spring reverb and hall reverb and all that good stuff. And then some of the more esoteric kind of sounds like shimmer, swell reverb, gated reverb. There's a delay and reverb algorithm as well, so you can get some echo and reverb going at the same time. That's really nice. And I find that there's a couple controls on here that make even the kind of more standard offerings like spring and plate opens up some possibilities that I haven't found on other reverbs. There's a grit control right here, and also a dampening control, and they're both quite aggressive. So you can get some really, really interesting sounds kind of manipulating the grit and the dampening, I found. As well as the modulation section sounds great. So the first guitar that came in the song at the beginning of the video, you heard quite a bit of modulation going on, kind of a fast mod. And it sort of almost sounds like washy mod delay, maybe more than reverb, but it's reverb. And so I was really happy with that sound, just really cool and had a lot of vibe. So one of the most interesting things about this pedal is also it's got this thing in it called dynamic expression. And what that is depending on how hard you pick and kind of your attack and stuff, you can set a threshold setting. And so the way you play can basically control three different things. It's your choice of either the mix or the modulation or the dampening. So that sort of aforementioned dampening control, for instance, you get some really interesting sounds by setting the thresholds that the dampening kind of opens up when you hit really hard and then closes down after that when your guitar crosses the threshold once again. I'm going to show you some examples of that stuff. Mainly in this video, what I'm going to do is solo the parts from the song at the beginning of the video outside of the mix so you can hear some of those sounds, and then I've also recorded a considerable number of other sound examples of some of the sort of more interesting sounds that I found using the Silver Lake Reverb and using especially the dynamic expression kind of stuff. Okay, so let's get on with it. Here's some sound examples. It is the Silver Lake Reverb from SEYMOUR Duncan. So I just want to give you a little example of the dynamic expression feature in the pedal. This is preset 3C if you get one of these and you want to try it, and I've just modified it a little bit. So basically what dynamic expression does is, depending on your pick attack or sort of the amplitude of the signal coming out of your guitar, it's going to vary something.
in the reverb sound. So I've got it set to affect the dampening right now on this preset. So here's the tone with no pedal. And turning on the pedal. So I used that sound in the song at the beginning of the video for the chords that swell when the sort of the chorus comes in or whatever, where the melody guitar comes in. I had stereo hard pan guitars doing this, and I just think it sounds really cool. The grit control really affects sort of how dynamic or how pronounced the effect is. So I'll just turn the grit control down a bit so you can hear if I want to mellow it out a little bit. Here's sort of a shorter version of the same thing. And a real short reverb, and the dampening closes down hard when the threshold's crossed. This is preset 4C. This uses the Swell reverb setting, which is really interesting. The grit control is cranked on this preset. Now, I've got basically a clean amp sound going, just a little bit of breakup if I lay into it. Okay, if I turn on the Silver Lake, check this out. It'll basically take the first thing you play and then give you a big long reverb tail. I'm kind of cutting off the chords because if I don't, for however the reverb's set right now, it kind of gates and cuts out. Like that. But I found that if I just whatever I initially play and then if I stop, it'll tail out in kind of a cool metallic distorted way. So you can also duck the reverb with the Silver Lake, and what I mean by that is you can play, reverb level will be low, and then as your guitar crosses that threshold, the reverb comes up. Say as you're tailing off a chord or something like that, then the reverb wash comes in. So the advantage to using that type of setting would be that your initial attack stays real clean and stuff and isn't swimming in a sea of reverb, but then you can have the chord kind of tail out into reverb. So something like this. This is preset 3A, and here the dynamic expression controls modulation. So when you're playing, the modulation is less, and then when you stop or when the threshold is crossed, all of a sudden you really hear the mod. It's pretty cool. Thanks for watching my video on the Silver Lake Reverb from SEYMOUR Duncan. Great sounding reverb pedal with some really unique tones via that grit control, as well as the dampening control, and then the dynamic expression. There's kind of a whole world of possibilities in there for the creative guitar player. And definitely this pedal produces some reverb sounds and tonalities that I've never heard before. So I hope you dug the video. You can check this pedal out further at the website you see there on your screen. Please come back and see me for more videos real soon. I am Pete Thorn. Take care.